Hello everyone, my name is Bogdan. I'm a student of Roland Scope School front-end course, and today we're going to discuss data storage, document-oriented model, MongoDB, MongoDB structure, and basic CRUD operations in Mongo. Nowadays we can't imagine our lives without data. We consume gigabytes of data every day, posts on social media, YouTube videos, online courses, news, and so on. Digital content has become an integral part of our lives. A vast amount of data is created daily, like images, videos, songs, news, products on e-commerce, profiles on social media, and so on. All these types of data have different nature, but what unites all these types of data is that they can be represented by a bunch of bytes that can be stored somehow on a server. But how do they store it? Storing the data is a whole science, but today we're only going to discuss MongoDB. Databases that existed in the mid 2000s have some troubles with scalability and flexibility. In 2007, the company 10gen was established and started their work on a platform based entirely on open source components. However, the company was unable to find a database system that met their principles. As a result, the company began to develop a database system called MongoDB. So, what is MongoDB? MongoDB is a cross-platform NoSQL document-oriented database system which uses JSON-like documents with optional schemas. Traditionally, in relational model, the data is stored in tables with strictly predefined schemas. So it imposes some restrictions on the data you can store in your database. However, in MongoDB, there is no need to predefine a schema for a database. That's why small startups prefer using Mongo, because it's hard to predict the structure of the data you will have to store in future. Moreover, Mongo databases are stored as sets of connected instances on different servers. Original database is the key database, and all the operations are performed on the original database. And other instances are secondary databases, and they store backups of the original database. This prevents the database from unexpected crashes. So when there is malfunction on the original server or technical work is underway, one of the secondary databases becomes the main one. This ensures data availability and redundancy. This feature is called replication. Another feature of MongoDB databases is called sharding. Sharding is used to increase throughput of the database. Database is divided into small parts called shards, and these shards are placed on different servers. So it's increase. You can balance the workload on your database using sharding. Now let's take a more detailed look at a MongoDB database structure. Mongo database contains collections, and collections are like tables in relational model. And collections contains documents. Documents can be compared with rows or records in relational model. Document is JSON-like object which store information in key value format. In more detail, document is BSON object. BSON stands for binary JSON. Unlike JSON, binary JSON supports dates, and data in binary format. You can see on this slide an example of how a typical document can look like in Mongo. Keys are strings, and values can be a type of number, string, date, array, another object, and so on. The ID field is mandatory for a document, so when you insert a new object, a new document into a collection in Mongo, its ID is created automatically. However, you can configure ID manually if you want to. The size of the document is limited. It cannot be more than 16 megabytes. But if you want to store a document more than 16 megabytes, there is a technology called GridFS that stands for Grid File System. This system is divided into two collections, which are files. Files contains file names and files metadata, and chunks. Chunks stores binary chunks of these files. So Grid File System allows you to store large files in your database. Well, now let's take a look on some basic CRUD operations in MongoDB. Created operations in MongoDB are insert one and insert many. Insert one allows you to insert exactly one document into a collection. While using insert many, you can pass an array of documents you want to store in a collection. Read operations is provided by find method. In this method, you specify a query criteria to read the data you need. Update operations in Mongo is provided by three methods. They are update one, update many, and replace one. Update one and update many methods are used when you only need to update documents partly. And when you need to update entire documents, you need to use a replace one method. Update one method has three parameters. The first parameter is filter. Filter specify a query criteria to find the data you need to update, find the documents you need to update. The second parameter is update. Update is document that contains up-to-date information about a document you need to update. And the third parameter is options. You can specify additional parameters in options. If you want to delete a document, to delete a single document, you should use delete one method. Like in find method, you specify a query criteria to find documents you want to delete. And if you want to delete several documents, you should use delete many method, and there you specify a query criteria to find documents that you want to delete. Okay, now let's recap all the information given in this presentation. First, I want to list all the pros of MongoDB. First one is flexible data storage system. Like I said before, you don't have to predefine a schema of your database, so it allows you to scale your database without pain in future. It's supported by a lot of programming languages. A lot of programming languages have a driver to work with Mongo databases right into your code. Indexing and BSON format of documents. It makes a search process in your database more efficient. And sharding and replication. Sharding allow you to balance a workload on a database, and replication makes sure that the data in your database is available continuously. But as all in this world, Mongo have its cons. The first one, databases don't have stored procedures and triggers, so it's impossible to fully automate the work. There is no full compliance with ACID principle, and there are difficulties when working with transactions. So that was not all, but very basic information about MongoDB. Some of the pros of Mongo can seem very interesting, and you may think that it's an ideal database management system. But in conclusion, I want to say that there is a lot of projects and situations, and there is not magic pill that can solve all the problems. And you need to be aware of at least a couple ways or tools that you can choose to solve the task. And you must choose which one is suitable the most in your situation. But it requires a lot of experience and knowledge to make the correct choice. So I wish you not to stop in your journey of learning and becoming more expert developer and better person.